All right, I'm gonna talk about this just real quick, just because we've been killing it on our live streams. This has been live stream specific. I've gone into detail about what this is all about. I just want to shout out to everybody that was part of the stream the other day. At every $1,000 mark, I'm doing giveaways. I did a series of giveaways, did some signed backwards merch, some t-shirts, and all sorts of stuff that we gave away. So big shout out to everybody that participated in that. Once we hit that 2,000 mark, via Streamlabs direct donations, we will be doing another series of giveaways. And then once we fill up the bar, if we do, we'll do another giveaway. Next one will be about comic books. So today we are going to discuss something that actually I discussed in the last stream. And it was brought to my attention that Gal Gadot had some interesting things to say about the use of a sword in the upcoming. Hold on, I said I was going to make this go away. Let me make this go away. About the use of a sword. So, Bounding in the comics, they covered it. They actually quoted what was important to take from it. We're not going to watch the entire video of the interview. But she says, Wonder Woman does not carry a weapon. Though we had intention to let go of the sword because there is something very aggressive with the sword. If you have a sword, you need to use it. So we wanted to give that up. And then she also noted that the shield's not there either. And we didn't feel the need that the shield was necessary either. She is a goddess. She can fight. She's super strong, and she has the skill. She has the gauntlets and the lasso. She has Tiara, and that's about it. All right, so interesting, right? Interesting. So some people wanted my thoughts on that and where I was at with it. Did I agree with it? Now, I'm not going to make a big deal out of that because certainly for live action, I can understand. And because it's Wonder Woman, depending on which version of Wonder Woman you're familiar with, she's going through her stints where she carries around her sword. The God Killer sword in the last Wonder Woman film, if I'm not mistaken. But also the shield. It just depends on which version you're familiar with. But to be fair, a lot of the versions that her in terms of her stint, depending on who she's fighting, a lot of it has nothing to do with it. She's more iconic in terms of, if you're going to compare weaponry, the lasso is more iconic than the shield and the sword. And I understand that why they would go that route. I wouldn't use that definition to explain it. That rhetoric, I got to understand she's not necessarily from America in terms of where she was born and raised. So her idea of aggressive seems to be different because she follows up. She says something very aggressive, but she follows up with saying, if you have a sword, you need to use it. Like, so it does that, like, in the context of what I would use the word aggressive to mean, that's not ever what I would use it to mean. It seems like, from what I'm picking up from what she's saying, is that she doesn't need it. Therefore, we're not going to have her carried it around. Which I can understand that. And for a live action depiction, depending on who her adversary is, I can 100% understand why it will make a little more sense to focus more on her strength and other abilities. I don't know if we're going to get a version of Wonder Woman that can fly, and so forth. So I like that because I can understand from the live action depiction, it's a little different from slicing somebody with a sword versus punching them across the geographical area, right? So it just really depends on what version that you're familiar with. I will say Wonder Woman's at her most iconic with more so the lasso and not the shield and sword. So had she not had it, it's not a make or break for me. I think the term aggressive in terms of how she uses it is what was the eye opener with this. Because a lot of people like, well, it almost feels like Wonder Woman's going soft. And I don't really pick that up from what she's saying when you consider her explanation. Again, the sentence right after it, she says, if you had to have a sword, you need it. So it sounds more so like, all right, well, she doesn't need it. And she doesn't. I mean, definitely if all she's fighting is humans, regular old Joe Blow humans, then she doesn't. She really doesn't need the shield and sword at all. I think those should be reserved for more stronger opponents, maybe fellow Amazonians and so forth, because it makes more sense. You're not equipped with that sort of just physical strength that you would in terms of overpowering just regular humans. Because to be completely fair, Wonder Woman is a very very strong character. I'd argue to say underrated strong because that she's not one of the ones that comes to mind when you think of a very strong. You think of like OP characters, you think of Superman and stuff like that, and I would consider her one of the more OP characters. Like certainly if you've read up on her, and now in Justice League Dark and the whole, they're actually exploring the whole magicianship, if you want to call it that, in terms of her power and where it's based out of, and she has a lot to her. So this doesn't make or break me. I think again the term aggressive, I would not use that to describe that. So if let me say this, if she was meaning that they're not going to use the sword because they have just a particular issue with the use of weaponry, then I would have had an issue with. But that doesn't seem to be what she's saying. She absolutely goes into detail with okay, she does have a lasso and stuff like that. And I think if they were removing that, it would be a completely different story. If they were removing the lasso from the equation, I'd be like, wait a minute, like that's a little silly. This is Wonder Woman. That's her iconic, weapon. You got to have that being a part of her, and they are going to keep that around, but they are going in a different direction. And it seems like in this upcoming movie in Wonder Woman 1984, she will not be using a shield and sword because, according to her, she doesn't need it. Or Gal, they think that they didn't need it, so they wanted. She said, but she did say Wonder Woman does not carry a weapon. In a weapon in the excuse me, she does not carry a weapon. She did say that. Gal Gadot says she doesn't carry a weapon, but the lasso absolutely is a weapon. And I'm pretty sure she's going to be using it as one in the upcoming movie. But again, I think it's just a rhetoric thing. It's less language for you. It means different things to different people. Aggressive, certainly, to make the explanation that she gave, aggressive would have not been the term that I would have used. But I can see where she's going if she's trying to paint the image that okay, we don't want her to appear like she has to use it, so we don't have her wielding it. So I'm okay with that. She's a very powerful character without it, and I think it does make for a better live action depiction with this character. Again, unless she, when they are more so primarily focusing on her and other Amazonians and so forth, then that's a little different. It's a little different of a ball game, and I can understand the use of weaponry because the playing field is even. It's not even when she's fighting other people for the most part, so I get it. She doesn't need it. She can, the gauntlets, which, she doesn't necessarily need them, but that's, again, just goes to show live action. It looks a little cool instead of just having the bullets reflect off of you, which is what they would do anyway. You can just put your hands up and block the bullets away for some reason because she doesn't, of course, want to feel the pinch that is bullets hitting her skin. But I get it. Let's just say that I get it 100%. I get it.